Hello everyone, my name is Jake, and today we're going to be talking about amendments. And I will be giving my three potential amendments which I would like to be added. This is in no particular order. I'm just giving you three ones which I think if the U.S. Advocates, sorry, if we did, it would be vastly good for our country, and I think it would just be an overall huge benefit. Now, the first one, now these are all going to be ones which I feel like the majority of Americans support, no matter what their view is. The first one is going to be term limits. Term limits, term limits, term limits. Now, of course, the president already has term limit, which, who knows if that'll even work now, but the first thing I want to talk about is the average age of Congress. As you can see from this is not even updated, so they became even older. The average age is well over 60. Even a couple years, even a couple decades ago, you can see here it was around 52, and now it's shot up, and now it's 60. Many members of Congress are over 80. I think you have Chuck Grassley. If you look at his Twitter account, he doesn't know what he's doing on there. I think he's 89. He was born in 1933, I believe. It's ridiculous. Um, so what my idea is that House members cannot serve more than 6 terms, and Senate members cannot serve more than 3 terms. Now, you can ask me where I got these numbers from. I kind of just pulled them out of my ass, but it's just what I think would be the best for the country. This means that no member of House could serve more than 12 years, and no member of the Senate could serve more than 18 years. Some members of the Senate have served more than 40 years, which is simply not something which will help the country. There's no way you can advocate, you can just do this for that long. You don't know, you're not in touch, you don't know what's going on in the country, and it's something which is a huge problem for Americans. As you can see here, this is, well, I actually didn't get the numbers from there. I got them from many other people. This one says 6 terms. For this one says House members for 3 terms. I think that's kind of low, to be honest. So I just made it 12 years for the House and 18 years for the Senate. I am willing to make it lower than that, but that's what I believe would be the best. As you can see here, 85% of Americans support that. 85 Americans, 85%, 79% Democrats, and 85% Republicans. You never see anything that's 80%. You can see 80% when people agree that things suck, and that's kind of what it shows right here. Okay, only 7% of the people opposed congressional term limits, and among the youth, it's probably like 90% approve it. That this is something which is never going to happen, I believe, because everyone's old there and they don't want to give up their power. But I believe if I was the supreme leader of the United States, this would be the first thing that I would do. Now, the second thing which I would do would be an age cap. This is kind of connected to this because this would also help with the problem of them being too old. This would make it so that no person who is running for office for the first time could be over the age of 70, and no sitting member of Congress can run for re-election if they're over the age of 75. Now, oldest, now this is just ridiculous. I want to show you. Oldest member of Congress, okay? The oldest member of Congress right now, okay, if we scroll all the way down, Chuck Grassley, who I was talking about, who is 92 years old. And I believe he was maybe running for re-election, which would make him 100 years old at the end of the term if he wins re-election. And he's in Iowa, so he would win. This is ridiculous. And it's not just a Republican problem, Democrat problem. Everyone's too old. You have Nancy Pelosi, who is retiring, who I think is like 85 or something. This is ridiculous. Mitch McConnell's 83 years old. It's absolutely insane. If you look, I know this was a long time ago. If you look at when this country was founded, the members of Congress were like 40 years old max. It's insane. Okay, you had some people who were lying about their age back then because they wanted to get into Congress. Okay, so I can tell you now, 90-year-old people cannot accurately know what the people who are my age want. Okay, it is ridiculous. They are advocating for things which would help the older people, and I'm not saying that could be a bad thing. I'm just saying it's kind of ridiculous because I think it's like 13% of people are Gen Z, and it's only, I believe, 2 people of Congress are Gen Z, which is 0.5%. It's ridiculous, okay? First of all, we have the primary people, but second of all, you need this Congress amendment. I just made it different for running for re-election because I just felt that would be more fair, but this would mean that I would maybe at least 20% of Congress automatically ineligible for re-election. This would also apply for the president. So Trump wouldn't be able to run. Biden wouldn't have been able to run. A lot of people wouldn't have been able to run, and I think that's a good thing. Okay, I think there should be limits here. Okay, there should be reasonable limits, and I believe this is also a reasonable limit. Again, if you made this 65 years old and 70-year old, I would also not be opposed to that. But this is um, something which I think would be beneficial. Now, this is for something which I know less about, but I still feel like it should happen. Would be something with balanced budget. Now, this 20 years balanced budget thing, I saw this somewhere and I thought it was a great idea. Just because if you look at the national debt, which I'm not an economist, I don't know much about this, but if you look at the national debt, it's getting a bit out of hand. And when I mean it's getting a bit out of hand, I mean it's $38 trillion in debt. What are we doing? Okay, $38 trillion. I think the last time we even had a balanced budget was back with Clinton, and then we got into the Middle East, and then suddenly, the national debt explodes again. Um, I think we added $1 trillion in less than 100 days. Um, in during the shutdown, I think it was like 90 billion in one day, which is ridiculous. I'm not an economist. I don't know much about this. I do know that it's a problem and it has to be solved, and that's why I believe having some urgency here and making an amendment to help solve this. I'm not sure what the exact wording would be, but I think this would be a very good idea for the country. And there's also many other amendments which I would potentially add, but those are the three ones which I feel like are the most important. Um, Next week will be the fourth Sunday video, and I finally have a name for it, which I will announce, and I'm pretty happy with it. My friend helped come with it, and thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.